the trumpet in Zion, Zion. Sound the alarm on my holy mountain. Blow the trumpet in Zion, Zion. Sound the alarm.
They rush on the city, they run on the wall. Great is the army that carries out his word. They rush on the city, they run on the wall. Great is the army that carries out his word. The Lord utters his voice before his army. The Lord utters his voice before his army.
Blow a trumpet in Zion, Zion. Sound the alarm on my holy mountain. Blow a trumpet in Zion, Zion. Sound the alarm. Blow a trumpet in Zion, Zion. Sound the alarm on my holy mountain. Blow a trumpet in Zion, Zion. Sound the alarm.
Good morning and welcome to the Apostasy Warning Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Delory, and I thank you all for tuning into the program this morning. And today's, on today's program, I'm going to be presenting a message entitled The Mark of the Beast. This is something, subject of great controversy, and I want to deal with it because this is an area where people are going into apostasy. They're getting away from the Word of God on this. And so I want to try to get them straightened out, brought back, and to the truth on the matter, because this is an important issue, even though it does not apply to the church. If you're not here during the tribulation period, this is not something for you to worry about. But many people speculate about it and wonder about it and want to talk about it. So it needs to be dealt with. First of all, let me say this. I don't believe this is something you should be obsessed with. Again, as I said previously, that there is no need for you to worry about this if you're not going to be here during the tribulation period. But it needs to be discussed so people have an understanding of it. As Christians, we are to be prepared to give an answer to people if they have questions. So this is going to be one of them, I'm sure, at some time in your life as a Christian. Someone is going to ask you about this issue, and it's best for you to have an answer to provide for them. Okay? So the scripture text for today's message comes from Revelation chapter 13. And this is talking about the false prophet. The false prophet rises up out of the earth. He is given the power to do great miracles in the sight of men. He deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. And first of all, he tells all the worshipers of the beast, or the Antichrist, to make an image to the Antichrist. And then it goes on to say that in verse 16, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And so we understand now that the false prophet is the one who he causes the inhabitants of the earth during the tribulation period to take the mark of the beast. And if you don't take it, well, then you don't eat, basically speaking. You have no right to buy or sell during that time, because the Antichrist says, unless you take that number and swear allegiance to me, that's what that's about. It's not just the taking of a number. He wants you to swear your allegiance to him. Then you can't buy or sell. That's it. That's how Satan operates. How clever of him to boil it down to the nitty-gritty. When it comes down to the basic necessities of life, you won't even have those if you don't take the mark of the beast. And so this is a very trying time, the time of the tribulation period. This is a time spoken of in the book as the 70th week of Daniel. There's been 69 weeks of years so far, which totals 483 years from the time that King Artaxerxes gave the Israelites the right to build the wall. That's written in the book of Nehemiah. I think I may have gotten something wrong there. I don't know if it's Artaxerxes or maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure. Check it out, because I don't want to be quoted as saying that I said something that was dumb. So check that out. But somebody gave them the wall, the go ahead to build the wall. From the building of the wall to the time of Jesus Christ was 483 years. And then the prophetic time clock stopped, and with 1 year stopped, 1 year held back. And so finally, after the church age, after the church is raptured, then the 70th week begins. And it's a time when God is dealing with the people of Israel exclusively. This is all about Israel. And so this is what is happening in Israel during that time. And of course the whole world, it isn't just, Israel isn't just, it isn't only Israel that's affected, the whole world's affected. But all of this, you notice, the Antichrist is in Israel. He makes a covenant with Israel. He goes into the Temple Mount in Israel and declares himself to be God. And so, anyhow, all this is happening, and if you can't buy or sell, you just can't live. And so this is all done through the false prophet. He's more or less a spokesperson for the beast, or for the Antichrist. So we know this now. Now we move on to the next question. What will the mark be? That's a big question. What will it be? And there's a lot of speculation on this, and quite frankly, the Bible doesn't say what it will be. And so we cannot add to the Bible. We can only go by, we can speculate and form opinions. That's fine, but you can't be dogmatic about those opinions. You just have to say, this is my opinion, but, actually the Bible doesn't tell us. So if somebody asks you that, that's what you have to say. There's a lot of different views on it, but I can't say with any degree of certainty what the mark of the beast will be. Some believe it will be a tattoo. Some believe it will be a microchip inserted into the right hand or into the forehead. Remember, it says about the mark of the beast that they put it into the right hand or into the forehead. All of those things, or something, it'll be a tattoo. Some think, there's all kinds of ideas out there about what it will be, but we just don't know for certain. And a lot of people get all shook up, like if your animal has a microchip, and, oh my God, that's the mark of the beast. Listen, if that were the mark of the beast, if that's what the mark of the beast will end up being. Well, it won't be until you have a man on earth, and we're in the tribulation period, and he's saying, worship me and take my mark, that it becomes a problem. Right now, these implants that they use, these little microchips they put into your dog, and some people have them inserted into their skin for medical purposes, that's not taking the mark of the beast. So don't get all excited about that and think you're sinning against God, because you're not. So that covers what the mark of the beast will be. I mean, there's just no telling what it will be. And again, this is something that doesn't apply to us, because if we're true worshipers of Jesus and we live for Jesus and we love Jesus, then we're going to go up in the rapture, and we're not going to be here for this awful time of 7 years of the tribulation period. We're just not going to be here. So, it's not something to be concerned about. The next question would be, not the next question, but something that needs to be addressed in Book of Revelation, chapter 14, verse 9, I believe. It talks about those who take the mark of the beast. There will be an angel traveling through the heavens, shouting about not taking the mark of the beast. So those in the tribulation period who take the mark of the beast, if they take the mark of the beast, they're doomed to hell forever. There's no turning back from that. And the reason is that you have sworn allegiance to Satan by doing that. And so you should be aware of that. God forbid, if you do go through the tribulation period, that's what's going to happen. And God provides warning. Remember, you have 144,000 people, Jewish evangelists on the earth. You have, by this time, the 2 witnesses, and an angel traveling through the heaven, all screaming for you not to take the mark of the beast. And so, if you take the mark of the beast with that type of witness, an angel traveling through the heavens, that doesn't tell you something? If you have had all that witness and still take the mark of the beast, well, then your fate is sealed. You're going to burn in hell forever. And the Bible tells you there in Revelation 14, I don't know which verse, that those who take the mark of the beast, the smoke of their torment ascendeth up into heaven forever and ever and ever. So, if you're in the tribulation period, God forbid, I'd hate to see anybody go through that time, because it's going to be a time of literal hell on earth. Remember, if you heard this program and you're in the tribulation period, what I said about it. So let me recap what I've talked about tonight. The mark of the beast is going to be introduced to those in the tribulation period, to those alive during the and living during the tribulation period, and it comes through him, and he's going to cause many people to receive it, and he causes them to receive it through the miracles he works. It tells us here somewhere. Let me see, verse 14. No, that's not what I want to see. Anyway, I can't find it here, but it says right here in verse 14, he deceiveth them on earth. He deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And anyway, the false prophet will be given the power to call down fire from heaven. He's going to do all of these miracles before the inhabitants of earth in the tribulation period. And so because of this, they see this miracle is, oh boy, I really butchered that, miraculous power operating through this man, and this is only going to serve to further enforce the belief in these people that the Antichrist should be worshipped. And so they will eventually worship him and give him their allegiance by taking this mark. What the mark is, we do not know. There are a number of views on this, and there's a lot of speculation about it. And so I would say that, this is not something to worry about. A lot of these views are plausible. I'm not saying that any of them are, necessarily wrong. It's just that we don't know. The Bible doesn't say, so we cannot add to the Bible and say it's going to be this or it's going to be that. The Bible doesn't say, and where the Bible is silent, let non man speak. Leave it alone. It's not really something to worry about unless you happen to be in the tribulation period. You've missed the rapture through a sinful life, and now you find yourself in the tribulation period. Well, then it becomes something to worry about. But at this point, it could be a tattoo, it could be a microchip, it could be any number of things that people have talked about. There's a lot of conjecture out there about it, and you'll find a lot of stuff about it online. But just remember, the Bible doesn't say. And if the Bible doesn't say, if the Bible doesn't tell you exactly what the mark of the beast will be, then don't take it. And of course, the third part of the recap is that anyone who takes that mark will be doomed to hell forever. It tells you that in Revelation 14, chapter 9. And this says the smoke of their torment ascends up forever. They're doomed to hell. That's it. So if you take that mark, there's no hope for you to be saved. It's over. It's done. And that's just a horrible thought, but that's the way it is. So that's what the mark of the beast is all about in the book of Revelation. And I wanted to try and bring people back to the truth of the matter because there's been a lot of speculation out there, and it's in my opinion, it's not, I don't know if it's damaging, but I mean, you're talking about things that really don't apply to you as a Christian. If you're living for the Lord, you're going up in the rapture, you're not going to have to deal with all this stuff. So why should you be obsessed about it? And yes, it's good to have an answer to provide for people who are going to ask you, because I guarantee you they're going to ask you at some point. You have an answer, and this is the answer. The answer really is there is no answer. That we don't have any way of telling what the mark will be. Here's some theories about what the mark will be, but not something that we can, hang our hats on. So just leave it alone, because it doesn't apply to you. Don't worry about it. Don't be obsessed about it. I mean, I know people that are into all this eschatology, and that's fine, but that's all they worry about. Eschatology, the Antichrist, the mark of the beast, the false prophet, and while it's good to know those things, we should study those things, but to get into all this speculation about the mark of the beast and talk about it all the time, I'm not going to do it. That's part of the reason why I did this program, just to let you know that it's not something that needs to be discussed constantly. That's what I've shared with you tonight. That's it. That's the end of the story. And I hope it's helped you. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out the program. The website for the program is apostasywarning.org. Again, apostasywarning.org. You can go to that website and avail yourselves of all the posted teachings and articles and so forth up there, videos. And also my YouTube channel is Apostasy Warning Radio. I have nearly 350 videos uploaded to that channel, and you can avail yourselves of those anytime, of course. If you go to the channel and you like what you hear, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. I've had a huge number of subscribers come just in the last couple of months, and also I've had a huge number of people who have listened to this program. Last night I had a listener from Istanbul, Turkey. That was amazing to me, and that just shows you the outreach that this program has. I mean, that's a Muslim country. I couldn't believe from there. And I have all kinds of other listeners: Dublin, Ireland, Sweden, Paris. I just can't think of them all. I mean, there's so many. And so this program is really being heard in a lot of places, and I believe it must be helping a lot of people. I get feedback on certain programs. I got a ton of feedback on the Smith Wigglesworth program, where I called him out on his errors and what I believe are his lies. I got probably 200 or 300 people giving their opinion there, and of course I was called the devil and you're demonic, and all kinds of vitriolic statements were made to me. But the bottom line is this: I'm going to speak the truth, whether anyone likes it. I don't care who likes it. I don't want to purposely offend you. I don't set out to try and offend anybody. But if you're offended, I'm not sorry, because that's just the nature of the gospel. There's an inherent offense in the gospel, and so people, they get upset when they hear things they don't like, and they were certainly upset over that one. And I got, at this point, I think 2,000 views on YouTube over that one. So I don't worry too much about what people think, but I get feedback on other programs, and I enjoy getting feedback, and I will return your I will comment back to you if you comment on my channel. So that's it. That's going to do it for today, and until we meet again, I leave you with this reminder to keep the faith and defend the truth. Have a good night, everybody.
The trumpet in Zion, Zion, sound the alarm on the holy mountain. Blow the trumpet in Zion, Zion, sound the alarm.
They rush on the city, they run on the wall. Great is the army that carries out his word. They rush on the city, they run on the wall. Great is the army that carries out his word. The Lord utters his voice. Victorious.